Hi guys, welcome back. It's Tommy with another Starcraft 2 replay, another Starcraft 2 retro replay, as we have a nice international engagement here in between the two pro players. Let me just start by introducing the players to you guys, as we have spawning here in the lower left in the red. It is Parting from South Korea, one of the best micro-intense players there is here in Starcraft 2. And his opponent, of course, spawning here in the upper right in the blue. It is SERRAL, the current world champion. But like I told you, this is a retro replay, and I believe it has been played around the year 2017, 2018, so we're traveling back in time once again just to witness history in the making, as both players are spawning here on Oxide LE, and we already see a very fast move out here by Parting with his probe, just cancelling this first expansion point here by SERRAL. So SERRAL is forced to move out with his drone into another location, so it looks like indeed a fast expansion build order here for the world champion. First hatchery for him. Of course, he is very likely going to continue with his extractor and with his spawning pool. In the meantime, Parting is preparing here to wall off his entrance with a gateway with a pylon, as he's also very likely going for a fast expansion. His gas is up, and yeah, let's just see what the next steps are going to be here for both players. Just like I told you, there is that extractor with the spawning pool, and we're just going to see if SERRAL is going to try perhaps a timing push here against the Protosses. Of course, many Zergs really like to do that with roaches, with ravagers, or what exactly his other options are. Of course, Mutalisk could be a nice surprise here against a Protoss. Some Zergling rush would also be interesting, backed up with some Queens. We might also see a Night Swarm. You have seen this do SERRAL against Rainer. And yeah, let's just have a look at Parting as he's continuing with his cybernetic score here into this location. So yeah, we also see Hero go now for mass stalkers against Zerg. So seems to be the new meta, mass stalkers and mass zealots versus the Zergs. Let's have a look if Parting is indeed going to go for this optional. Of course, we will have to see the next building here for him. Is it going to be a Twilight Council, or is it perhaps going to be a Stargate? Always this question. If we are going to be seeing a Twilight Council, we are very likely going for a rush. Could even be an adept rush, but yeah, stalker rush really strong against the Zerg, as the first drones are being transferred here for SERRAL in the next location. Yeah, there it is. We actually have a Stargate. So indeed, Stargate it is going to be here for Parting. Dick boy Parting here. And yeah, we're very likely going to be seeing some air units here attack the mineral line from SERRAL. Let's just see if he's going to be prepared for that. Or some queens are already out for him. Might try to add some spores. This one overall is really important for SERRAL, as he's going to be giving important vision here what exactly the units will be here for a Dick boy Parting, as he's continuing with another gateway here. And yeah, slowly but steadily the overall is moving out. Of course, SERRAL is fearing very likely some stalkers, but he actually has a Zergling here into this scouting Zergling, made it here through, so he sees the Stargate. And interesting enough, Parting goes for his first Void Ray, as some probes already taking damage, but of course the Adept will take care of this. The speed has been almost done here by SERRAL, as he's also going for his second expansion. And let's have a look if he's going for a tier 2 upgrade, what exactly his reactions are going to be, as the first overload is already reducing. Of course, that the first Void Ray is out, so Parting on the hunt for those overlords. And there is this one Oracle being produced just to attack the economy from SERRAL. So first Void Ray here for Parting, as slowly but steadily we're close here towards the 10-minute mark. Still no spores I see here for SERRAL. And yeah, just massive amounts of queens. He's droning up really strongly, and there is this finally first spore. He should also continue here with another spore. So around the 4-minute mark he's adding his spores, as Parting is also expanding into the 6th location. So a very interesting game. Both players, I believe, preparing their macro-oriented game. No early attacks here, just this one Oracle moving on. Let's just see if Parting is going to be able to do some damage here against SERRAL. SERRAL having a nice creep egg here. And yeah, in comes this one Oracle, but there is a spore, there is a queen who's just using the Revelance now to see what exactly in the main base. Perhaps there are some buildings hidden in the back, but yeah, the Oracle now being just used for some scouting purpose. And I believe this one Void Ray has killed the Overlord. Might even have killed a Zergling or two, as SERRAL slowly but steadily, I believe he's trying to open up the gates here just to add more and more of those queen eggs into this location, just with that creep. spread that creep all around the map just to create a creep highway, of course, for his units to attack perhaps this expansion point. But we do already see a shield battery or porting going out now, so yeah, nice defenses with this one adept. Great pylon position here just to block any entrance. Really nicely done here. Porting, and more adepts have been added here by him, so we might see a timing push with some adepts. Let's check his main, but actually more of those targets are being spawned, and a forge is also being added here for him. We also see a robotics bay nicely hidden in the back with a robotics facility bay as the first adepts are moving forward. But I believe Porting is just going to show his presence here into this location. He's just very likely going to snipe more and more of those creep eggs here. So nice job here by Porting. Might even be lucky and take out a queen or two, but he's shading out and into another location. But he needs to be careful not to get surrounded here by SERRAL. SERRAL has so many units here into this location, so yeah, this probably Porting is just buying time for his macro game. This is going to very likely go really strong into some air units. As yeah, there it is. We don't see a fleet beacon yet, but it could be some carriers, or it could even be mass void race. It could also be a push with mass void race and shields into this location. We're currently just scouting here, just showing his presence. In the meantime, SERRAL, of course, playing very defensively. At the same time, he's trying to counter with a small group of Zerglings, but there is even an Oracle, no, a Disruptor here into his location. And yes, that should be here to defend, but yeah, in comes those Zerglings, but yeah, that even has Zealot here on the ground. And yeah, the Zealots pretty much pushed back, but here we go, we have a nice push forward finally with Porting, with those adepts making it here forward, killing so many of those drones. Of course, the adepts will be snapped, but in the end, 12 drones have been killed, so SERRAL being pushed back a little bit with his worker count as he's now at 62 workers. So a nice push here by Porting, a nice timing push with those adepts, but also losing so many of them. I don't really think it was worth it to lose all of those adepts just for 12 probes, but then again, I'm sure Porting knows exactly what he's doing, and a very interesting unit composition with void race, with disruptors. And let's have a look what exactly he's going now for. Some phoenixes, so very interesting transition here by him. Phoenixes, I was thinking about carriers, but hold on, there is that fleet beacon, so a nice hidden fleet beacon in the back with another Stargate. So we are going to be seeing indeed some carriers, but will it be enough as SERRAL is pushing forward with his queens, with those eggs on the ground, and they're just spreading more and more of that creep towards the expansion point here from Porting. At the same time, SERRAL also taking here this expansion point, so but steadily we're almost there at the 10-minute mark as the macro game looking really strong here by SERRAL. He's at 79 workers, actually 82 now, so droning up really strong, adding more and more of those expansion, more and more of those extractors. And yeah, at the same time, Porting also responding with the same strategy here, having already 71 workers, having the air dominance, of course, with those phoenixes, with those void rays in the air, and some adepts on the ground. But in comes this one Overlord, Overseer, and he's not, I don't think he saw the fleet peak in the back, but he did see actually some Riot Council with some gateways, so it's just a guessing game now here for SERRAL what exactly is going to get produced. As yeah, we're closing to the middle part of this game, of course, and I told you air dominance pretty much here for Porting, as he's hunting, I believe, for some overlords, but just one Zergling here for him. Just moving on, but there are some queens on the ground, but he might be lucky to pick one up and kill it, but no, at the same time also moving out with his void race, so a double attack here by Porting. A very defensive gameplay here by SERRAL against his opponent. Lots and lots of queens on the ground just to defend here those expansion, and yet another expansion is being added here by SERRAL. So very macro oriented game here by SERRAL, of course. Porting pretty much has to punish this, but yes, SERRAL really great with his defense, with those queens on the ground, with now even having roaches and some banelings and some zerglings. So let's have a look if Porting somehow can make here a surprise attack with his air fleet in the air. So yeah, he's adding more and more zealots, and let's have a look. He's just roaming around, of course, just give protection towards his expansion point. There are 2 more gateways being added, so it could be a transition into some gateway units, but at the same time we saw that fleet beacon. Actually many more gateways are being added, and no carriers have been added yet. Interesting enough, so it will be a trap. Of course, SERRAL wants to scout this position, but he's not making clear forward as Porting tries, of course, to take an expansion point here as well. And yeah, some zealots will be sniped here, but the void ray should be able to secure this position against SERRAL. So SERRAL losing some Zerglings at the same time. He's pushing forward with his rogues, with his roaches, sorry, and with his banings. So slowly but steadily SERRAL showing his presence, and there we have a transition, but it's not carriers, it's actually Archons here by pointing. Archons of course really strong with their splash damage, looking really beautiful here, supported by those void rays in the air. So a very nice looking unit by pointing, as we have the queens now here, and even some infestors. So infestors looks like the answer here from SERRAL. We might see some mind control against those Archons, we might see some fungals, and we even have some vipers here in the air with some Broodwar. So very nice transition here by SERRAL against his opponent, as we see some drones getting snapped here. So there will be some zealots did make it here forward, but in the end SERRAL should hold. At the same time SERRAL tries to counter with some Zerglings, but this will of course be held off by fighting really nicely. So both players just checking the water, both players very defenses here with some shield batteries, with some cannons, and yeah, we even see actually massive amounts of spines and spores here for SERRAL, as he's trying to snipe here zealot after zealot. So last move out by him. So slowly but steadily both players just poking around, just moving forward, and let's see who's going to be the first to massively attack. A nice mix of units here for parting. Those Archons looking really strong, really scary, as they're being backed up even by some immortals. But we do have those Broodwars in the air, so party needs to be of course very careful, and even massive amounts of spores just in case there are some carriers. So SERRAL pretty much thinking about everything here, and the phoenixes I believe are being sacrificed now here by parting. If he's going to transition into some other units, perhaps massive amounts of Archons, perhaps High Templar Storms would be a probability here for him, or is he finally going for some carriers, as some zealots are once again being sniped here. So yeah, nice unit composition here, looking really good here. Starcraft 2, very nice graphics here. So yeah, let's have a look what the next steps are going to be. Like I told you, very defensive gameplay here by SERRAL versus his opponent, as the floodgates have been opened here, and yeah, more of those creep eggs are being added by SERRAL. Slowly but steadily he's closing here towards this location, and yeah, those zealots are really creating great havoc here, forcing a stop into mining here. So nicely done here by parting, and he's even dealing lots of damage towards this one hatchery. At the same time some void rays are also being prepared for parting. But yeah, there are corruptors in the end. Finally this one prism has been sniped, so that prism going to be really worth it here for parting. And yeah, more fences are being prepared here for SERRAL. So still not a major engagement yet for both players, and some overalls are being sniped. So yeah, once again both players staying back, just preparing their macro game. Actually both players maxed out. Upgrades are also going out here for both of them. There's still no major engagement. So let's see when exactly a regroup is going to happen here. The middle of the map is pretty much in control here for SERRAL with his Broodwars, with his queens, and even two of those infestors just for those fungus, perhaps for those mind control like I told you. And let's have a look at the army composition here from parting. Nice Archons here, 6 of them, and yeah, another prism has been added, I believe. Going to try zealots next to that expansion point here from SERRAL. Slowly but steadily SERRAL is moving forward, but of course parting is not going to allow that creep spread, and yeah, more spores are being added. So SERRAL really thinks that it's going to be carriers, as he's very likely going to sacrifice some of those roaches. Those roaches are pretty much exposed into this occasion, and in come those Archons, and the voiders of course will be able to destroy those roaches. I believe SERRAL just nice climb a little bit, but just pretty much sacrificing those roaches. I believe he's going to position into some other units, perhaps preparing more of those Zerglings just to counter. If he's relying more and more into those Zerglings, yes indeed he's going for 34 Zerglings here, and some infestors, sorry, some interceptors are being produced here by parting, as we even have a mothership being added by him. So let's have a look. One immortal with some zealots are also being sacrificed here, but they pretty much deal some economic damage towards his enemy, as 5 drones have been killed. So nice job here by parting, sacrificing those zealots. So I believe he's also going to transition into massive amounts of carriers. Indeed more are being produced, as we actually have 5 stargates here for him. So a great fleet is being prepared once again for parting. This is his opponent. This is going to force more and more of those corruptors in the air. By SERRAL, as it's slowly but steadily. SERRAL is also moving forward with his queens, with his eggs, and the other spores also will be really important. Fungals with spores are really deadly. And let's not forget parasitic bombs. We've seen this previously. SERRAL do actually have a mass teleportation here by porting towards another location, towards this upper left port, and SERRAL pretty much caught by surprise. He has to come forward with all of his units, and yeah, this one expansion has pretty much been cancelled. And we actually see even yet another teleportation here, but where exactly? If it's a defensive teleportation indeed at home, just to regroup. So nice sneaky job here by parting, just cancelling this one expansion point. The two high templars are still inbound here, but at the same time in comes SERRAL with a small group of zealots. Sorry, Zerg here, as he's able to deal some damage. So both players just attacking their far right and far left expansions here, and this one expansion might even get cancelled. So yeah, again it is being held. Great storms are being used. So nice job here by parting, showing his mobility with that one mothership just teleporting left and right. But SERRAL is pushing forward. So many spores here by him. Actually have his hand now 4 infestors. And a really scary army by him. This one fungal already, and slowly but steadily he is knocking now at the door for the first expansion point. Just producing expansion point as the gateways will fall really quick. So Martin pretty much has to regroup. Even one carrier is getting pulled back here with those Vipers. So nice job here by SERRAL, and at the same time he's also adding those Zerglings. But Parting looks like he's pretty much going to ignore this, and he's moving forward with his fleet, with his Archons. SERRAL also has to retreat here, as just a couple of gateways have been killed. But yet the Zerglings are doing really good damage here against Parting. 11 drones have been killed, and the Nexus pretty much has been killed here as well. So Parting tries to counter. There is his counter strategy with some Dark Templars towards SERRAL. SERRAL pretty much still in control of the middle of the map, has so many spores out. This one expansion will also be killed here by him. And let's have a look what exactly is going to happen. Some ultra risk have been added here by SERRAL, and there it is, a very strong ground unit. Just one ultra risk moving here forward with some Zerglings. I believe Parting once again has to move back to defend here. And at the same time SERRAL also slowly but steadily pushes here forward with his air army. But we do have those Void Rays, we do have those carriers, but the Quick Rift Fungal now being used by SERRAL. Nice feedbacks, great high temper storm. In the end, in come the Broodwars from the back end, the Corruptors. And yes, so much damage is being taken left and right, but yeah, nice pullback once again, as one carrier has been killed. And yeah, the Queens are also nicely healing those units up straight onto that one creep. So great damage here being taken. Parting, and let's have a look. Parting did lose this expansion, but at the same time SERRAL also losing this expansion here, as once again Parting is moving out with his main force. It's the upper left part, and yeah, some defenses are being produced, but a little bit too late, as in comes the fleet from Parting. And SERRAL, is he going to retreat? Of course he's not so fast, just as Parting. And yeah, Parting just sniping some of those buildings, and yeah, now once again moving back, as SERRAL also regrouping in the middle of the map. And just a couple of Zerglings once again are being pushed here forward against Parting. And yeah, Parting once again tries to counter with some High Templars. But what exactly the main damage is of course happening here into this one expansion point. There is a shield battery, but yeah, those Zerglings are pretty good here, and Parting just sending even his mothership back into this location. So still anyone's game, of course. Very scary fleet here for Parting versus the air dominating fleet here from SERRAL. As yeah, so once again he's pushing forward with those spores. Really smart gameplay here by SERRAL. Fungals and spores it is, and even some parasitic bombs could be used, of course, with those Vipers. 3 Vipers for him, and 6 infestors now actually. So he's going for a harpoon perhaps against this one mothership. He's looking to do it. Yeah, let's have a look. Yes, indeed, he did cut this one mothership. The red bubbles have been added here, so nicely done here by Parting defensively. But in the end, the counter is looking really strong by SERRAL. Once again with one ultra risk, with a couple of Zerglings. But yeah, Parting pretty much had enough of this. His mothership, however, is really low. He knows he has to attack. Yes, SERRAL tries to regroup in the back. So let's have a look what's going to happen here. One expansion pretty much exposed so many carriers in the air. One Archon underground trying to deal splash damage. Great. The high temperature storms now once again are being used, and even the Dark Swarm looking spell onto those Queens, making them more and more tankier against the air units. But in come the Corruptors is going to try very likely to snipe this one mothership. Yeah, let's have a look. Parting is pretty much moving forward, just sniping hatchery after hatchery, building after building, so still anyone's game. Very interesting game, but at the same time Parting losing those two expansions here, still having this one with so many cannons defended. At the same time, SERRAL has to rebuild this location as some probes will be taking so much splash damage out of this one. Ultra-risk looking really strong. Let's have a look what's going to happen here. Still the carry is in a good position, but one has been pulled back. It's going to get snapped. So slowly but steadily, SERRAL just snapping. Unit after unit, and even more this one mothership, a very important pickup here by SERRAL. Nicely done by him. So yeah, let's have a look what exactly is going to happen. Who is going to be in front here by now? Sadly for Parting, he did lose his one mothership, so his units are pretty much exposed. But he still has a great amount of void rays, great amount of carriers, as he's just going to retreat back and secure this expansion point. At the same time, this one expansion point a little bit exposed here into the upper left part. So yeah, at the same time, SERRAL taking this expansion, but Parting is present here, tries to defend it. It already takes some damage now here onto those Ultralisk and the Zerg, so very hard game here from Parting. In comes his attack once again. At the same time, he's trying to force secure this expansion point. Slowly but steadily, SERRAL just moving here now once again forward with his spores, with his corruptors, with his vipers. So yeah, let's have a look who is going to be the winner of this game. A very interesting game. High Templars in the front, but a little bit exposed, so one mistake here by Parting going to cost him 2 High Templar Storm as the Broodwars make their way forward, and the spores also making their way forward just to counter those interceptors in the air. So let's have a look. In comes Parting with his void rays in the front, but the spores already attacking. Lots and lots of Dark Swarms have been added here, but the void rays have activated their energy, and there's so much damage being taken here by SERRAL. At the same time, the Corruptors are pretty much back in the air, but we do see some Parasitic Bombs now against the carriers, and great Fungus once again. So Parasitic Bombs with Fungus once again being used here by SERRAL, but so much is still being alive here for Parting. This is even transitioning into some Stalkers. So great game to hear by Parting as he's moving forward now against the units from SERRAL. Lots and lots of damage being taken left and right. Still the Corruptors are pretty much left alive here, so many areas will fall, but we do see a transition into Stalkers. This could be a chance for Parting. Those Stalkers will be really strong with those carriers. Even the Ultralisk has been killed here, so Parting looking really strong. But sadly for him, he has dropped almost to 100 supply. Let's see what's left here for SERRAL. A couple of Brutals in the air. Great Fungal once again being used. Nice sniping now once again. He's moving forward with a Fungal, with those Corruptors forward straight towards those carriers, and Parasitic Bomb once again has been used. So the Corruptors are dealing massive amounts of damage here against the air units from Parting. This one carrier after the other has been sniped, so yes indeed this has to be of course the GG, as SERRAL is taking this very interesting game here. A very macro-orientated game here by both players. In the end, Parting not really being able to punish the economy from SERRAL, and SERRAL just expanding all over the place, just adding more and more of those creep eggs, adding more and more of that creep on the ground, and yeah, in the end proving to be a little bit too strong. And great counters here for SERRAL with those Zerglings, with the Ultralisk, just sniping those expansion. So yeah, very interesting game. Like I told you, a very nice retro game from 2018, I believe it was. SERRAL this time the victor from Finland versus South Korea. Nice game. Once again, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm back after a small break. We'll be seeing, of course, in the next replays. This is Tommy signing out.